What's going on YouTube? It's everybody's favorite point guard, Geetha's back with another video today. And real quick, before I get into all the news that we got over the past couple of days about gameplay for NBA 2K26, I just want to say, this is a lot of people, it's probably gonna be a new channel. I've had some NBA content on this channel over the years, and I've had some 2K content back in like the 2K23 and 22 days, but I'm trying to get back into it now. I love 2K. I play it all the time. I love playing Racket Pro with my boys, and we have definitely a different play style than most people. We try to have fun with it and try to win games, but we also try to, I try to be a playmaking point guard. We try to play differently than everybody else. We don't like going with the meta. So, I just want y'all to know there are going to be more videos to come on this 2K26 cycle. A lot of fun content that you haven't seen before in all these other 2K YouTubers. A lot of them is the same recycled content. But over here, it'll be a lot of the same. You have build videos and stuff like that like other YouTubers, but it's not gonna be. It's gonna be some other stuff that I have a whole lot of ideas, me and some of my buddies, and we're gonna make some great content for y'all. But that being said, I'm gonna get into it for the NBA 2K26 news. Okay, so we got a lot of news today. The day I'm recording this, at least on Thursday, July 31st, about gameplay. And I'm just going to try to give you all a quick video to recap most of it, because they have these long streams and videos or whatnot, but a lot of it is just them making the content longer for no reason, right? And so I'm going to try to give you my takes and my opinions on some of the stuff that we learned today, and really give you a actual breakdown of what it means. There's a lot of the stuff that will try to explain it but not give you a real explanation. So I'll get right into it, and don't mind the background gameplay. It's just some random rec game me and my boys had the other day. Nothing too crazy, right? So, first things first, okay? They want to talk about pro play. Okay, so pro play is back. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I don't mind it personally, right? It's trying to make the game more realistic and look more like the real, the real NBA. And I'm fine with that. I like realism to an extent. You want it to be realistic, but you also want it to, be fun, and you want a happy medium. But I'm cool with pro play. And basically, they're changing the pro play motion engine. So they're saying that it's an all-new dynamic motion in NBA 2K26, generated from real-world NBA footage, which same thing as last year. And they're really wanting all the on-court movement, and they say offense, defense, and off-ball to feel like it makes like a difference, like every input matters, right? Mike Wang said on a stream that this is the biggest change to player movement since NBA 2K21, so that could be a really good thing or a really bad thing. Who knows? The only time will tell, right? The last year they claimed about the new dribbling engine for 2K25, and that didn't really seem too crazy, so we'll see what this actually means, okay? And they also say that this should help with the skating and sliding around the court that you sometimes feel like on offense and defense. So hopefully that is true, and that is the case. We're going to try to be optimistic, guys. All we can be is optimistic. We only have one basketball game every year, and it's 2K. So we want to try to be as optimistic as we can. We hope for a great game. No matter what happens, we at least want to be optimistic and hope for it. Okay? So they're saying that all these systems, this new pro play system paired with the other pro play we've gotten last year, and the dribbling system, is supposed to all go in unison and in harmony. Next up, one of the biggest news in my opinion is the enhanced rhythm shooting. Now a lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. Me personally, I don't care for it. It's not my biggest cup of tea, but it just gives you such a boost that you almost have to start doing it. And this year I think it's going to be some of the same. Okay, so basically they talked a whole lot about the rhythm shooting, and all in all, it really comes down to this. It doesn't make much sense this year, because they're saying basically when I flick down and up on my right stick, if I flick it up faster, my player's going to shoot faster. If I go slower with it, my player's going to shoot it slower. Okay? But you can still hit a shot when that happens. So my question is, how am I greening? How do I green a shot if my player is releasing the ball whenever I flick the right stick? It doesn't really make much sense to me. But basically, it either sounds like rhythm shooting is not going to be as good, or it's going to be crazy overpowered, is what it sounds like to me. And I'm leaning towards the overpower side, even more OP than it was on 2K25, which I don't like, but it is what it is. If that's what it's going to be, everybody's going to have to start learning how to rhythm shoot even more. But that's basically the gist of it. So moving on, green or miss. So it's green or miss again this year, but except this year if you were on high risk, it was green or miss, but now it's green or miss permanently. So every single game mode is going to be green or miss, but it's going to, how difficult it is to green varies on the game mode. So for instance, in Pro-Am, in ante-up, game modes like that, proving grounds, it's not going to be as easy to green, right? And it's still going to be green or miss. But like in the park or in like play now and stuff like that, it's also going to still be green or miss. But the green window is going to be very larger. So everything's green or miss, but your green window is going to vary based on the game mode you're playing. Okay? So next, a new signature shot that they have is signature go-to post shots. So basically, they had the signature go-to shots this year. A lot of people, I don't really feel like use them that much. They really just use them for like dribbling purposes, I believe. But now they have them for the post. So it's just cool giving you some more post moves. Hopefully they don't become overpowered or anything and make it to where it's going to be a guaranteed bucket every time, but not too big of a deal, right? But next, this is one of the biggest news that I saw today, custom layup packages. So in the past, you're always going to have one dribble or one layup package. You know, they've had it where you do multiple dunk packages at once for a while now, but only one layup package. So if I used, for instance, Donovan Mitchell's layup package per se, his floater, his reverse layups, his scoop layups, all those I'm using those. So if I only liked his Euro step, but I liked Trae Young's floater, for instance, didn't matter. If I wanted, I can only pick one or the other. But now they have it to where if I want Trae Young's floater, I can also have Donovan Mitchell's Euro step, and I can have Ben Simmons' hop step. You know what I mean? Just throwing names out there. And so they have a couple of different categories. They have normal layups, reverse layups, floaters, quick scoops, Euro steps, hop steps, and spin layups. So that's pretty cool. Should have been in the game a long time ago if you ask me, but we'll take what we can get, right? And that's just more customization and, you know, more different ways I can finish around the rim. I'm never going to complain about something like that. And this is an actual new addition and not something that's just been recycled and took it from us 2 years ago and now we have it. So that's pretty good. Defense is a big one for me because I feel like defense has been on the down the past couple years. Besides, like, you know, the very beginning of 2K25, steals were crazy, but then they took those back. And defense this year was pretty bad, in my opinion. And now they're saying this year, body ups and collisions were a big point of emphasis for them. So they're saying NBA 2K26 is using a system-driven technology to generate player-to-player collisions that are more reliable. They said before it was always like previous scripted motion captured animations, but now with the new dynamic motion they were talking about, it's a change that's going to improve the freedom of movement, not just for defense, but for the dribbler as well. So we'll see how that goes. I hope, you know, the body ups and collisions are better and you can actually make, you know, I'm not saying I should be able to stonewall the ball handle every time, you know, if I have a 9-9 perimeter defense, but I should be able to, you know, get some bumps here and there. If I'm a 6'8", 6'7" pure lock, for instance, I got a 6'2" guard running around me. I should be, if he's just running into me, I should be getting body ups on him, especially if I have a high strength, right? So I hope that's true. And one thing they didn't really go into, but I really am hoping for is the contest system. More so like contesting on jump shots, because I feel like, you know, it's so inconsistent this year. Sometimes I can have my hand in somebody's eyeballs and they get an open, and then other times I get a crazy late contest and it's a strong contest. You know what I mean? So, you know, I hope it's a little bit more consistent this year. I would like to see them go back to a percentage-based contest system personally. Like, you know, we've had different years to where, you know, sometimes I might get a 17% contest, I might get an 83% contest. I feel like that just helps you as a player a little bit more, knowing what kind of contest you got. Whereas in this 2K, it could say weak, but that week could mean it was a really good contest, or it was like I wasn't even there. You know what I mean? So moving on, interior defense. They say interior defense has been redesigned as well, so that's easier to get strong body bumps in the air while contesting finishers at the rim. They're saying big men will feel increased physicality when roaming in the paint. I mean, we'll see how that goes. That's just something that we're gonna have to play to find out, right? We'll move on quickly from that. New rebound timing feedback. So a lot of people were thinking this is like a green, like it's like almost like a green meter for a rebound, which it kind of is. Like if you time a rebound perfectly right this year, a green meter will flash below your feet to indicate a well-timed rebound attempt. But I don't think that's anything too crazy. I think that's just for just showing you when the right timing is. But if it's not, I'm hoping it'll penalize you for not jumping at the right time. And I hope it's something to just bring a little more skill gap to the rebound, because, you know, some centers just make a 9-9 rebound, 9 on the O-board and D-board center, and just always sprint in the paint and not even try to get position, hope they get the rebound, right? I think, you know, positioning and boxing out and stuff shouldn't matter. I shouldn't be able to just run at the rim and get a rebound, right? I hope that's part of this rebounding timing feedback change, but we will see. So next up is quick protect, which I really like this. So as a ball handler, you can now tap LT or the left trigger to initiate a quick protect, so they'll kind of use your offhand and your body to shield the ball from the defender, which that's cool. That's like real life. You know, if I'm dribbling with my left hand in real life, you know, and I got somebody poking at me, I'm gonna use my right hand to kind of push their hand away, right, and use my right side of my body to protect the ball. You know what I mean? And so, you know, most 2Ks, if I'm dribbling, I'm holding LT, just put me into a post up no matter where I'm at on the court. So tapping that LT is going to make me to where I can protect the ball, and then, you know, well, if I'm timing that right with a defender spamming X, that should make it to where they're not just going to get a steal on me every time, right? And also, as a defender, if I can time it right to where they just use their quick protect, and right after they finish their quick protect, now I'm reaching in, right? So I think it's just making more of a skill gap for getting steals and avoiding steals. So I like that. They've been preaching the skill, you know, wanted to be more skilled gameplay and skilled gap this year. So I'm very, very cool with that. Hopefully it's something that's not going to be too OP to where nobody can get steals anymore, but we'll see. And it's also you can also use the quick protect to put your defender in jail per se. So like when I say that, I mean if I drive past somebody in real life and I have them on my back and they're trying to get a steal from behind me, from my back, or, you know, trying to chase me down, I can, you know, slow down a little bit, back up into them, maybe force them into a foul, or, you know, just get them off of me. And that's something that happens in real life, and that's something that they're implementing this year. I like that. You know, if I beat somebody, they shouldn't just be able to rely on a chase down block, right? I should be able to, you know, use my body if I, you know, have them on my back to my advantage. So I'm cool with that. You know, obviously as long as it's not too overpowered, that's cool. Moving on though, no dip catch and shoots. This is one of my favorite as well. So basically, what they're saying is if a no dip catch and shoot, if you don't know what that means, basically players like Klay Thompson, they showed it in the trailer, but also like I know one from my favorite team, Nick Batum. I'm a big Clippers fan, as everybody knows if you watched this channel before. And a lot of other players do it in the NBA now. It's to where, you know, when you catch the ball on a catch and shoot, you bring it down to get into your shot formation, and then rise up and shoot. But the no dip, it just makes it to where wherever you're catching the ball at. So if I'm catching the ball up at my face, I'm not dropping it down, right? I'm bringing it up from wherever I caught it and just rising up and immediately shooting. It makes it a quicker shot, right? And so that's basically what they're implementing into this game. So it's going to make it to where catch and shoot is going to be a lot faster when you're holding LT on a catch and shoot, right? And it's pretty cool. That's going to make it to where you can help out even less. Excuse my stutter there. So, you know, especially if it's somebody with a quick jump shot and a good shooter, if you are lacking on them and they have a point guard who's getting the ball quick, they're going to do those no dip threes and master that timing, and they're going to be getting it off, especially if the contest system is as bad as it was this year. Because if it is not a good contest system and you're lacking just a little bit, you're going to get shot over probably with this no dip. I'm just warning y'all now. But I also like it because it's realistic. You know, there's shooters in the NBA that do this to get their shots off quicker. So I think that's a cool addition, and it's going to be cool to see that no dip animations. Just as long as it's not too overpowered and people are just able to shoot everything over people. You know what I mean? But moving on, they have some new signature size ups, and now you can rock the pro stick back and forth, left and right, and repeatedly flick your right stick up to do 2 different size up combinations. Just a couple other things for the dribble heads out there. They also have slow motion Euro steps. So, you know, people like Anthony Edwards do this to where you can, you know, maybe explode to the paint, but then do a slow motion Euro step, maybe try to get people off their feet. Just something that can hopefully be good and can be used effectively. You know, hopefully if I do this slow motion Euro step, people can't just keep spamming Y or spamming triangle. I think that's what it is on PlayStation, to get up crazy late contest or block on me, but we'll see. Rat passes. This is pretty cool. So by double tapping B or circle, you can basically do a rat pass, and this expands your toolkit for playmakers to determine when you want to do a rat pass and ensures you aren't throwing the ball straight into the back of a defender. So basically, if I'm trapped in the paint and I'm trying to get the ball out, you know, get it to the corner guy or something like that, but there's a defender in between me and that guy, I can probably do a rat pass here, maybe get it around the defender, you know? It's still a risky pass, but it's just something that's going to be cool to where sometimes if you have somebody wide open, you know, or if I'm at the top of the key, here's another example. If I'm at the top of the key, somebody's right in my face, I have a good man wide open in the corner, but I'll pass him the ball, but I'll throw it right into the guy that's guarding me. That can be annoying sometimes. So maybe a rat pass in that situation, get it around the guy that's in front of me, get it to the wide open man. So I think that's cool. Just more passing options. Just more stuff like this is cool. You know, it might not get used a lot, but it just gives you more options. So I like this. This is a W in my opinion. Alley-oops is getting a revamp as well. So catching an alley-oop now, they say requires more skill. Like I said, they're honing in on the skill base and more of a skill gap, right? So now, once the alley-oop pass is thrown, the finish button for the receiver will be randomized on higher difficulty. So I don't really fully know what that means. I assume it'll be for probably just for Pro-Am, Ante-Up, and Pro-Am. Pro-Am, Ante-Up, and Proving Grounds. Excuse me. But maybe in like all like the park and stuff game modes too. But I doubt that. I assume it would probably just be for Pro-Am, Proving Grounds, and Ante-Up. But who knows? But basically, they're changing it to one of the forward buttons on your controller. So instead of it always being X or square, it might pop up as B or circle or A or X on PlayStation. So that's pretty cool. It's just more of a reaction time for you, and it's just you can't just run to the paint as a cutter holding X and you know the lives coming. You have to make that quick decision of what the button's going to be, right? So moving on, setting screens. This is a W. I've been saying this should have been there for a long time. Screeners can now control which way you want to face. So if I'm holding B or circle, I believe, to set a screen, tapping the left stick slightly left or right from the direction you are currently screening will turn your player 45 degrees. So it'll help you quickly move if your players, for some reason, if I'm trying to set a screen on the right side, have to have my guard go to the right, but my player's facing the opposite way, it just screws everything up. They don't get hit by the screen, right? So this is a good addition. You should be able to quickly move your body like that to get the screen in the right position. A couple other stuff. They're saying AI overall is going to be better and adapt strategically to your every move. So basically, it's going to have more of a drive and kick intelligence. Going to be more help defense intelligence. Basically, just all overall, they're supposed to be better. Which, I mean, you know, we've been having a whole lot of advancements in AI technology just in the world itself throughout the past couple of years. So this only makes sense that this would be progressing. I won't go too much more into detail about that. And in MyCareer, your AI teammates are supposed to consider your position on the court even more, even when you don't have the ball. And the double teams are supposed to be better with it. And they also says they're supposed to navigate screens better and so on. So moving on, just not a whole lot left. There's new playbooks and different plays added for, you know, your My NBA and your My Team modes. That's pretty cool. Doesn't really help me much as I'm mostly a rec and Pro-Am guy, but that's something. AI shot timing ability, you can change that in My NBA and play now. And that's pretty much all of the news. So a couple other things. They did say that the game speed is going to be faster this year. And you can tell in the cinematics and stuff that they posted, it does look faster. But they said the game speed is going to be a lot faster this year. And it's going to not only look faster, but it feels faster. You know, that was a big thing on 2K25. A lot of people felt the game was slow. And me personally, I love the game being fast. You know, me and my team in Pro and Rec, we play big running gun, right? As you can see, in the rec lineups, in the rec gameplay in the background, where I'm just fast break almost every play, right? You know, and also don't take it in too much into account because we're also just messing around in these games. You know, at the end of the year, we don't care too much, but I love faster gameplay. As long as it still, you know, implements that pro play and it looks real, fast gameplay is where it's at, right? So that was one of the only other main thing they added, and that was essentially all the news we got today. Obviously, we'll have more news dropping about the MyPlayer Builder and MyCareer next week. Probably, if I had to guess, they said it's the week of the 4th, but if I had to guess, it'll be the 7th or 8th. I think the 7th is that Thursday. So I'd say be on the lookout for that, and I will be dropping a video here about that. So I want to thank y'all for watching. Like I said, I have a whole lot of 2K26 content coming on the channel. You know, news videos every time they drop every week. Have a video or two a week, and I'm not going to drown you with videos every day like a lot of these other creators do because there's not that much news to talk about. The main day, when they drop the main news, that's when we'll talk about stuff. But other than that, I'm just going to try to keep quick to the point and tell you about the main stuff. All right, but I thank y'all for watching, man. And I would like y'all to please like and subscribe for me. It would be greatly appreciated. And I'm going to be dropping all types of 2K26 content for y'all. So be on the lookout. I want to thank y'all. This y'all's been y'all's favorite point guard geethers. Peace.